All right, we are here with Hollywood Undead, Charlie Scene and Johnny Three Tears here in the studio. Totally, we're in Virginia right now.
Love Virginia.
Yorkshire.
Appreciate Yorkshire, London.
Virginia?
Yeah. Appreciate y'all being here. Long-time listener. Much respect. Seen y'all live many times. You put on a hell of a show. First of all, I mean, we're in the studio, so I'd love to ask kind of like, how the music's going and maybe how it's coming together and what fans can expect.
No, it's going good.
It's going good.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So, all right, awesome.
Good answer.
Thank you.
So, because the producer's sitting next to us, I have a lot of shit I want to talk.
Yeah.
But he's a sensitive girl.
Yeah. Saka, are you sensitive? Shaka's not in the shot. Does he get sensitive?
So sensitive.
You can tell he is. You know, he's got a soft little underbelly, and you don't want to hurt him.
I've never said.
Little pussy at heart.
No, everything's good, man.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. So, you guys have had an amazing career, continue to have an amazing career. It's been truly amazing to see what you've grown. And so I want to kind of go back to the beginning of your career, as we always do in this podcast, kind of early on, what got you into music? When did you first feel inspired to go like, really, I want to start a band. I want to do this at a high level.
For me, I saw Tom Petty. I think it was Running Down a Dream. One of those videos on MTV. I was like, holy shit, I want to play guitar. So I got a guitar. I was like 6. So I learned guitar, and then I went. My friend had tickets to a concert. I was like 12 to go see Stone Temple Pilots. I'd never been to a concert, so I went and I saw Stone Temple Pilots live. It was my first show, and I was like, holy shit, I want to do that one day.
That's awesome.
Kind of the same deal. I mean, I always like to write. And so music was the most immediate way to put it out. So like you write things down. Should I write books? This, that, the other thing. And music is the most immediate way to get those feelings across. So it kind of just transformed from I wanted to be a writer or just write things to music is the quickest outlet, I guess. And then I wanted to join the military, and then I got a felony when I was 15. They wouldn't let me join. So I decided to.
And he has flat feet.
No, I don't.
He does. Take those.
Was that a consideration? They weren't going to accept you because of flat feet?
Mm-hmm. But they don't. I don't know if they care anymore, but I know in Vietnam you could get out of the war if you had flat feet.
Yeah.
I don't know if you still. I don't know. It seems like they wouldn't care anymore.
I've had my feet flattened in case the draft fucking pops.
So what you're
I'm not. I have flat feet now. I had injections done.
So what you're saying is like World War III pops off, then you will have flat feet.
Yeah, we'll have work done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
There's got to be a way out of it.
Yeah. No, I agree.
No, it depends who the war's with. If we're going to win for sure, I'll fight.
Yeah. Both of my feet are broken right now, just so I can't even walk, guys. So.
Wow, really?
No, I'm just trying to get out of World War III. No, I'm good.
It does seem like it's a high time for a war. Right?
Yeah, it seems very scary.
Wars in the air?
Yeah, we're too old to be drafted, though. I'm 27, right? What's the cutoff? 26?
36, I think. Yeah, I know. But you have flat feet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm going to get fake tits and just be like, get huge ones. And they'll be like, dude, this guy can't hold a gun.
Fake tits are awesome, dude. That's fucking great. So at what point do you guys, I read this. I don't know if this is true or not, but like a few years before the band really blew up, and it seems like you guys have a real knack for marketing early on with the band, which is also very important with the group. You guys like blew the fuck up on MySpace.
Yeah.
You get signed by Tom. From MySpace. I mean, I don't know. That's what I read.
That's not true.
It's not true.
Well,
okay.
We tried to, we ended up not signing with him, but we had like meetings with him and shit. He like messaged us directly. It was
yeah. No, yeah, you're
wild.
Yeah. He took us to a Green Day like Jimmy Eat World show too.
Yeah.
No, he was doing something with Interscope.
Right.
Like Interscope saw the potential of like that social media stuff, so they had something going and they involved us to some degree. But I know MySpace ended up forming a record label.
Yeah, MySpace Records.
Yeah, but we never.
They signed. Right?
Pennywise did a record on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't end up doing any. But he was cool. Tom was dope.
Yeah.
I actually DM'd with him like a while. He's like, he just travels around, takes photos.
Yeah, he got his payday and like just.
He's a really cool dude. He's cool.
Fucking badass.
He's a really good photographer.
Really
yeah.
good.
We were lucky, like with MySpace, like we had it right. And I feel like I would go, if you could like bring back a modern version of MySpace. I know they've tried it and it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But like at that era, man.
It was fun.
It was so
fun.
fun.
And it wasn't something people would sit on for hours. You kind of did it here and there. Now it's like, I think it wasn't addicting enough. They had to find a way to hook people more.
We didn't have phones really that could go on
It
MySpace.
would
You
just
had to
look
go on a
like shit.
computer.
I remember watching
Yeah.
porn on the phone and it sucked, so I'm assuming MySpace did.
Yeah.
You know?
Back in the day, like porn on the phone was bad.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
was,
dude, it was
yeah.
just a freeze frame and like, you know, I used to like to read the descriptions because, you know,
Because you're going to put that time in that dial up.
I get the mental image of Peggy was a whore and she did this and she had a kid. She needed to support him, so she went into porno and then I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Like an IMDb for porn.
Yeah.
I bet there is one of those.
There
So,
isn't.
no, but I mean, it does seem like, at least with MySpace, it was music focused. And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tom, one thing a lot of people don't know is Tom is like he loves music. He really does genuinely. That was one of the coolest things about it. It wasn't just trying to like get into a business. The guy was like a huge fan. Yeah. And with MySpace, I thought it was awesome because, you know, they had the MySpace charts and a lot of bands, almost in the same way like Spotify or streaming brought older bands back. MySpace was kind of doing the same thing. You had access to a lot of stuff. You know, a record store is only going to carry what's out at that moment, and maybe Zeppelin and the Beatles. But all of a sudden, every band had a MySpace page, and you could go listen to stuff from back catalogs and all that stuff. And I just thought it was like, it was more artist driven than, you know, girls' boobs or, you know, things that, you know, that I don't look at.
It was fun to have like a song on your profile too.
Oh, yeah. You
Absolutely.
can yeah. That was like a big deal.
And then you could get like the HTML, like the glitter.
Oh yeah. Special hacker shit to pimp out your page.
Yeah.
If you left your page open, someone would post something from it
all the time.
But then the social pressure of like the top 8, like that was really
Yeah, it was a real argument,
ruthless.
Yeah.
You know, you find out how your friends really feel about you at that time, and you'd go like, I don't know if whose top 8 I'm on, but I feel like I would want to know that. you know?
I would check all the time to make sure.
Yeah. Well, if they moved you, if you got moved, then they had to get bumped.
Exactly. I
you
remember
know?
that was a thing. Like if you were like in the 3rd spot, but you had someone in
Oh,
your
hell no.
first or something,
'Cause you look like a
moved
bitch.
fucking them. Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah.
You're going to 4, bitch.
And it would be, you know, there'd be those petty people where it's like, you know, you miss a phone call, like you're going down a couple spots.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know? I mean,
yeah.
And I just learned people who I really hated based on the, you know, the people who manipulate the top 8. I'm glad I don't have to go through that kind of pressure anymore where I'm like, oh, I skipped out on a dinner with this guy. I know I'm going down 2 slots.
Right.
And especially if the top 8 is like you're in like a noteworthy person's top 8, that's a whole nother level. You're like, goddamn, Morgan Wallen bumped you down 3 spots, dude. What's going on? You know?
He put Tom in his top 8 at the number 1 spot just to kiss his ass.
That was when it was automatic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And Tom
Remember
was
when they
everyone's
picked it, like,
friend.
whoever had the oldest profile had the top slots before you could.
Before
there was a point you could. You know,
that's right.
And so everybody with the oldest profile were like celebrities, like Tila Tequila and Ricky Terror and this guy.
Yeah, Tila was huge.
Yeah. And so they just had the oldest profile, so they're automatically in there. And I remember when they gave you the ability to move it, this dude we knew who was always in everybody's top 8 was like freaking out because now, you know, he was an automatic and that made him like popular on MySpace. But
Yeah.
Tila Tequila, though, I mean, she had her tits out on MySpace. So, I mean, there were
like full-blown porn.
now.
I don't know if she does it now. I know she ended up doing it.
What was that show she had on MTV? Where
Shot of Love.
Shot of Love, dude. I want them to bring back the rock dating shows, like Rock of Love.
That's amazing. That's
oh man, it's so good.
No, well, dude, it's just so bad that it's fucking,
It's so bad, it's amazing.
Yeah,
it's like The Room.
Yeah.
Like bring it back where you've got. I mean that those kind of reality shows were truly they're still around, but you don't like The Rock.
There's the Flavor Flav one.
Yeah,
but Bret Michaels was the best because he had like all these corny ass sayings. I can't.
Yeah.
It was
I like the Flavor Flav.
We stay here and rock my world and like come back.
That's exactly right. Yes, dude. That's hilarious. Oh man, yeah. Now I have to go back and rewatch that whole season.
I did one time, but it was like on YouTube and like the quality was all shitty. I'm like, fuck, man.
You can sign up for YouTube like it's like $10 a month and you get like all of it in HD and stuff.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Premium, yeah.
Premium.
Yeah, and you don't have to sit through the ads.
I can't afford it.
Times have been tough.
It is here. I'll tell you, in LA particularly, I'm blown away by how expensive it is. My hotel parking is $50 a night.
What the?
It's crazy.
I know.
And where I'm at, it would be like, I mean, it'd be a solid 25.
If you're paying to stay in for hotel parking, you're right. Like, that's, I don't remember that. Maybe if you're in downtown,
right?
Yeah, no, they're just, everybody has to figure out ways to make money because everything's so expensive. So it's crazy because you go buy something. I'm like, I don't remember that being that much.
No, it's way more expensive than it was.
Everything.
We moved to like Nashville too, so we've been out of LA. It was already.
Y'all are in Nashville now?
Yeah, now
I love Nashville. Really? I go to Nashville often. I love Nashville. Yeah.
But moving there, like, shit is way cheaper. But
Absolutely.
coming back here, it's even more expensive than ever, especially with like what's going on in the world. Like, out of control.
But Nashville even now is, because it's blowing up so much, everybody's moving there, it's getting expensive. So
similar to Austin, Texas.
Fuck out of there, dude.
Yeah. Don't go there. Like, y'all stay here and just deal with the prices. Oh yeah, me. Well, I'm just a tourist though, you know.
Well,
so I don't really
need tourism.
Stay in Yorkshire, dude.
Stay in Yorkshire.
Yeah, exactly. Yorkshire, London. I'm British. As soon as I walked in the door, they started peppering me with questions about what am I British?
You know,
trying to figure out your ethnicity.
Because you reminded me that they were watching that Slaughter to Prevail, and you kind of look like Alex the Terrible.
Yeah, I love him.
So I was like, all right, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the scars and shit, but I was like,
he can scream like him though.
Oh, he better scream. He's the best screamer in the band.
Yeah. Shout out Alex, former guest here on the podcast.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, that guy's crazy.
He's
I
awesome.
watched the videos of him
He's
hunting
gangster.
a bear and shit. Like, that guy's the real deal.
He's a wild dude, and he also bare knuckle fights people, and I think he may actually fight a real, like, he's already done an exhibition fight, but I think there's a chance that he might do like a pay-per-view. There's a lot of buzz about him in MMA, and so he's like you couldn't create a more metal, like, if I'm like, let me just make the most metal
real metal, like most metal guys are like dudes from the suburbs that are like mad their mom,
like nerds.
Like they play video. So to have a metal fighting bears, fighting people, that's good. It's good for metal.
Before I met him, I'm like, I'm not sure, like, you know, when you meet someone and they're just crazy all the time and it's exhausting, and I'm like, I don't know if he's going to be, I hope he's not that kind of guy. Before I met him the first time, he's so chill. He doesn't, he's not like getting all the time. He's very disciplined. He's very in good shape. And we've stayed in touch. We talk very frequently on social media. And he's a guy who's like down to film crazy shit too. Like I was like, you wrestle bears. We need the American equivalent of that. And he's like, I guess he's living down in Florida now.
Wrestle a bear at a gay bar.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
You could.
I was the only bear I'll wrestle. I ain't with animals.
Well, I
Those
mean,
guys in chaps and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, come here, you big bastard.
He just, when I met him, it was crazy how personable he was, and you see the.
Well, I'll tell you, dude, if you're in that kind of shape where you have to be so disciplined. Because easy to get out of breath and to fight 5 rounds in like a fucking octagon. I'm sure those dudes, the amount of discipline to even get in shape enough to do that has got to be. You used to fight in the cage
All the time. I miss fighting dearly every.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tear up.
Don't. PBS says it. Don't get them all upset.
No, but you're saying he was like a cool dude. Like,
he was great. He was very.
how did he get that scar?
He says that he cut it into his face at the time he wanted to look badass, and he just cut it into his face.
Worked.
Yeah, it did. I think a lot of people have this assumption that the bear clawed it in, but no, he cut it in. He was, in his younger years, he was a very wild dude.
Crazy.
And,
scissors here, dude. We'll do it.
Yeah.
Maybe we should circumcise ourselves.
Y'all did a track, I guess about a year ago with Jelly Roll. God, I love Jelly Roll. That was so cool to see that collab. How did y'all get to know him?
That was just through our managers. Yeah. I guess they were talking to his manager, and they're like, "Hey, let's set you guys up with a meeting with Jelly Roll."
But like everyone is trying to get Jelly Roll on a track.
Yeah. Now they are. Back then, I'm sure people were.
No, he was big, but he's blown up a lot.
Yeah.
So when we met him, he had just signed to BMG, which label we were on as well. So it was kind of like he was kind of feeling it out, and he's like, "Yeah, I signed with BMG, just see how it works." And worked obviously, but he's still badass, humble dude.
We actually we got along with him very well.
I love that guy.
Yeah, because we didn't even know why we were meeting. Like a meeting about what are we going to talk about? But he walked in, he's like, "What's up, girls?" And then like I was like, "Oh, this guy's cool as f-." And then we just hung out.
Tequila. So I drove there, so he was like, "Hey, do you want some tequila?" And I was like, "Oh, I can't. I got to drive home." He's like, "Well, I'll have my security guard drive your car home." And I was like, "But then he's gonna be." I was like, "No, I'll have someone else follow him and drive him back." And he did. So I got fucking hammered.
He's that kind of guy.
And the security guard was like, he told the security guard, "Don't leave his house until he's inside," because I was pretty lit.
Yeah.
And I was so afraid of my wife. because it was like 6 in the morning.
The sun was up.
Yeah, so I tricked the dude. I opened the garage, and there's a fridge blocking the door, and I acted like I got it open. I go, oh, okay. He's like, love you. He's like, okay, bye. And then I stood by the fridge and went and slept in my car.
That's what
I got jelly rolled.
Yeah, I mean that's a common story where those guys love to party. His drummer Cody Ash is so fucking hilarious.
They're
I love
fun
that
dudes.
guy. They really are, and it's great to see them having that kind of success because they really are all awesome.
When it happens to good people, it's the best thing in the world, man.
Yeah, totally.
Because most of them are rotten bastards.
We did 2 songs with them too. We did one that we released and another one we actually like more that I hope comes out at some point.
Jelly, please.
Cool. Come on.
If you're watching this, Jelly.
Hell yeah. So, how did your record deal come together when you guys first got signed? What I like to ask people about is kind of how those deals come together in terms of, I feel like there's always a backstory to how people end up getting
we got
signed.
lucky because we had like the label war. We were one of those, all the majors were involved. So we were like milking this.
Because in MySpace, there was the charts of unsigned artists, and we were number 1 on that
forever.
Oh, wow.
So we had like Elektra, Atlantic, and there's all the majors.
Yeah.
And they would take us to dinner. We would be like, hey, will you take us out to drink? And they'd be like, yeah, sure. And we'd like milk this thing. All it was worth. And we were like so broke. We'd go to like Atlantic and ask them for like box sets of record, and they'd be like, yeah, go ahead. And we'd take them to Amoeba and sell them to get like alcohol and shit.
Fuck yeah.
But we were hard up. We weren't trying to use them or nothing, but we didn't have any choice. But no, yeah, we got into that whole situation. So like, the bidding war thing, we came along right before like the full collapse of the old system.
Right.
So we never really milked any of the good parts of it except for the free alcohol and it was fun. We had a good time though.
You guys had, you guys were, you eventually make the decision to sign. Did you sign before or after you had the first album in tow, like Swan Song? That was the first album, right?
Yeah.
We would release some songs
prior to that, and the hype was there.
Yeah, and then we went in with Don Gilmore and did the whole record. We turned it into Interscope, and Jimmy Iovine was like, he wanted it to be more hip hop and blah blah blah. So we got shelved by Interscope. So we were in like purgatory for
after
like 2
a
years.
bidding war. They bid war and then shelved.
Yeah, we should have gone with another label, maybe. I don't know. But I hate to say it, but a lot of times they're right, because after that happened, we wrote some of the best songs on Swan Songs.
That was before Undead.
Yeah, Undead.
Yeah.
There was a few.
You hadn't written Undead yet.
Yeah. And then we went with Danny Lohner, who was in 9 Inch Nails, who's like a brilliant dude, and he juiced a lot of the songs up. And so like, it was probably the right decision in the end, but we had to wait for another label to come along. And they don't want you to go to another umbrella. So if you're under Universal, they don't want you going somewhere else that isn't under Universal. So we had to wait till a label under the same umbrella, which ended up being A&M Records, and we signed with them. And then
there was one thing too where they said we have to take all the cuss words off our record.
What?
Yeah, not all a lot of it.
Yeah.
We did say some f***ed up shit on there, but we didn't.
With that one label, I forget what they're called.
It was a Christian label.
Yeah.
You guys were signed to a Christian label?
I
was like, wow. Nothing wrong with that, but I'm like, y'all.
Well, for our band, probably.
Yeah. That's a lot of profanity.
No, they didn't like all the stuff. They gave us this highlighted list. It was kind of like, we were already pissed when we got shelved. In Undead, a lot of that was directed at the label system. We were so mad.
Right.
And then they come back and say, hey, you got to not sell it. We're like, dude, f*** this. It kind of makes you not want to be in it. It's like, well, dude, what's the point?
Right.
So we had to find someone who would kind of let us be us. And that still to this day is tough sometimes because, now in the world we live in, people are much more careful about what they say, even so more so than then.
Right.
So, we always have to work to find like a home that lets us, do what we want to do.
Yeah. And that has been very difficult. I do feel like, maybe people have loosened up a little bit over the last couple of years, but like not as much as 20 years ago when you had movies like American Pie coming out, like even like the comedy space and stuff.
Stand-up comics talk about it all the time, how they can't be funny anymore. Basically,
they're the ones who are saving it to make it not be like so straight laced. They're the ones who make fun of it enough to where now people like the everyman sees like how stupid it is. Like,
yeah, like Shane Gillis getting fired from Saturday Night Live, and now he's back hosting again.
Yep.
All that kind of stuff. So you put this record together, and I mean, I was listening to it on the way here, and it's so rare for a band to just put their first album together and really just pop the fuck off with it. And I remember, you know, seeing y'all on MTV and like it was everywhere. Prior to, I mean, you're both born and raised in LA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's a big deal for y'all to move to Nashville.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't even like people knowing that, but he already said it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you get, LA's not LA anymore.
Right.
It's not the LA we grew up in.
Right.
Now, if you walk around and you're from LA, you're in the minority. Almost everybody here is from somewhere else. When we were kids growing up, it was like, you know, it was just us and the guys from our neighborhood. That neighborhood is now a bunch of people from God knows where. So we became outsiders in our own city. So it's like, let's get the fuck out of here.
Right.
Yeah.
And so now I want to make other people feel that way. So I moved to a town where I'm the outsider. I can make them feel like shit.
They
Hell
hate
yeah.
people from LA and Nashville. Like,
Yeah, people won't even tell. Like, if you say where you're from, they don't know you're from LA. They'll be like, oh, I don't want to talk about it.
I'll tell you what, Nashville really is a town where they're like, you're from Nashville.
Dude.
We want you to, yeah.
My
Like,
brother was talking to a girl at a bar, and everything was going good, and blah blah blah. And she said, "Oh, where are you from, LA?" And she stopped talking. She's like,
wow.
She like dissed him because he was from LA.
She want a Southern boy.
They used to get your pussy, brother.
Yeah.
Not no more.
No, they want the red. They want
No, I
they
see.
want the Morgan Wallen type guy.
Yeah.
They want the country boy, and you know, just do you ever say like you just got to talk with like a Southern accent?
Get on Farmers Only.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, when you're in LA, you're growing up. You're obviously loving music and pursuing. Who's the person that had the wherewithal to make the band blow the fuck up on MySpace? Is there anyone in particular? What was it about the band where y'all connected so much through MySpace? You think?
I think all those things are accidents, like happy accidents. I don't, music has a lot to do with like timing. And if you hit when culture's looking for that and stuff, like if Hollywood Undead came out today, I wouldn't do anything. I don't believe it may be something, but not, it was like, it was the right time and people wanted something like that. It was something different. I think it was like peak cock rock at that point. And so like when that was like really big and people were probably like over it. And we kind of did some street shit. And we blended everything, we're doing like acoustic songs and then hip hop songs. And so I think a lot of it's just being in the right place at the right time. And then there's quality there. And I think it's really just like we got like a lot of guys in bands don't like to admit that because they want to say, oh, it was just them and their talents and this and that. Everybody who got big is lucky to some degree and being in the right place at the right time. Because I know way too many really good musicians and songwriters that have never done anything just because they've never been in the right room. So there is a lot of good fortune involved, and we're very blessed to have been that lucky.
Yeah. Totally. And obviously the music is there as well. And it did connect with so many people and
Last songs.
and just and just
Shut up.
when y'all blew up, kind of how did was there a moment where you really felt that traction starting to pick up where you're like, oh,
The first time I could afford to buy my own cocaine.
so you're like, man, I'm doing pretty
Dude, I
good.
got my own coke. It's in my pocket. Yeah.
no, when we were played on K-Rock, it's
that
like
was a
that's the
big one.
station we grew up fucking listening to, and then they're playing our song. Like that was where I was like, holy shit, my life will forever be changed. I'm going to be a millionaire. And then fucking they never played our song after that. I still
We
drove
gotta
a
do like
Honda
Love
Accord.
Line and stuff with Dr. Drew.
God, that's
Winnow
so
Doji.
cool. Adam Carolla and all
We
that.
did an interview with like Stryker, who we grew up listening to. Like when we were in high school, Stryker was the DJ during the time we listened to it. So, we used to listen to this thing called the Furious 5 at 9 where they play the 5 biggest songs on K-Rock. And like, I remember listening to that every night because Chop Suey from System was like #1 forever. And the only way to hear it, because we couldn't afford the CD, was to wait till the Furious 5 night. So we'd sit in the garage drinking beer and waiting to listen to Chop Suey.
Wow.
So to be a part of it, and we ended up being on the Furious 5 at 9 and all that. So the K-Rock thing was a huge moment for us. The first time we went overseas too, we'd never even, I don't even know if I'd left California, but the first time we went to Germany, and it was a trip because, it's a new world to us.
Yeah.
And to see German kids 5,000 miles away that knew all our words, it really hits you like, dude, you're having an impact on people, like you didn't even know this outside of historical books. You don't know it exists. And then they know your lyrics. So there was like those key moments where it was like
Russia too. Where they're waiting for you when your plane lands, like outside the airport.
Yeah.
Wow.
When you see like with old Beatles footage, like that was happening to us.
ours that go home though. But we didn't listen.
I love it.
Well, it
And-
was just surreal because like we had been in rock bands our whole lives. Like we had other shit before Hollywood Undead. And then the first thing like we did, we were like, let's just have fun and fucking not overthink it and put like hip hop stuff on MySpace. And all of a sudden, 3 months later, Tom's MySpace or messaging us, the guitar player from the Strokes, posts us on their MySpace, which like, I love that band. Rick Ross posted to follow us, like all these people.
Rick
like,
Ross!
yeah, it's like holy shit.
What? How do you think? Oh, because he liked the hip hop element, probably.
Yeah, it
as
was
well.
just crazy. Yeah.
Man, MySpace really was such an underrated platform for that.
Yeah.
Didn't Timberlake try to bring it back? He like bought it.
He did.
Yeah.
It flopped, and it was.
Yeah.
He,
Too bad. It was such a perfect. There's not too much. It's not too little. It was music based.
Tom sold it, and you know, no disrespect to Tom because he's did very well for himself, but you know, after it was sold, I think the company kind of just declined in short order. And
Well, it was his. It was his brain.
Yeah.
Him and there's another dude. We shouldn't leave out Chris DeWolf too, who was his partner. Who was a really great dude too. Both those guys. It meant something to them more than in when you put it in the hands of just people with money.
Absolutely.
Who it doesn't mean anything to. It lost.
You lose the culture associated with the business and all that kind of stuff, and it just kind of went by the wayside, which was sad to see because that brand was probably the good social media brand. You just get on there and, you know, I could... And you didn't have the phone in hand to post. You had to I couldn't sit on the shitter and post something stupid when I'm wasted. I'd have to really think about it and go to the computer, pull out the keyboard, unlock the desktop, and post that. Now I can just
the porn windows.
Yeah, close all the porn windows. Close LimeWire and all the malware and shit.
It's so weird. It's weird that it's still today better than Facebook.
Yeah,
It's better than any of them.
Yeah.
I don't like how they're so all-consuming now. It's like one of these things, like even TikTok. You know, TikTok's such a big part of music now, and that's it's such a big deal, the labels and stuff. But it's you always have to be doing it. It's like this ongoing thing. MySpace, it wasn't like something that you had to be engaged in all the time.
Right.
I know guys who post content a lot that they're stressed out because they have to think of what they have to post because you have to post.
Yeah.
That didn't exist. You know what I mean? So it's it's a bummer that it's turned into this thing. I really think it's bad for people in general. Social media was already a dangerous game, and now kids care more about that shit than anything else. I was talking to a buddy of mine. He's a producer. I won't say his name.
Rick Rubin.
Rubes. But he was saying, and he produces bands, and I was talking about, the songs are really good. He's like, dude, honestly, the songs are 1 out of 50 things you need now, and it's not even number one. When if you had good music and some good photos and you could play live, you had a good chance. Now, music is like the 10th. Do you have this? Do you have that? Do you have that? Music is secondary. And that's unfortunate.
Yes.
That should be what really matters, and it doesn't. And I think that's in large part to...
Your music can suck, but if you have 3 million followers on TikTok, you're
labels sign people with big TikTok accounts that don't even do music.
Yep.
And go, hey, they can get someone to write it. They get someone to record it. We'll figure that out. You have the TikTok. And you can have some genius, but no online presence, and the guy's career goes nowhere. It's just
nowadays music talent, that is so true, where everybody's got, or so many people have the talent, and now it's also you have to be a genius with marketing and all of that. And
some people, musicians are typically fairly introverted.
Right.
Or a lot, so it's not everybody's going to go on there acting like a kid.
Yeah.
And no hate towards the people who do, but
Sure.
if you're just a dude who wants to play songs, but that's now you have to be this jackass.
Right.
It's like, dude, this isn't fair. So, but I mean, I get it's the game you have to play, and business is always going to be a game on some level, and you already had to play. There's always rules, but just back then it was more simple. If you could play a show, you had good songs, and you guys looked okay, you had a shot. Now it's like, forget it.
So when you get into the music industry, you kind of sign label deals and all of that. It gets a bad rep. People say, the music industry is horrible in terms of the business side of things. Do you guys feel like in deals, you were treated fairly or unfairly?
We signed one of the worst contracts in our business manager said that. He said we signed the worst deal he's ever seen.
Wow.
But, the thing is what they do is we're poor, like broke. And they'll give you enough money up front where you're like, dude, we've never even heard of that kind of money. And so you just take it. You don't think about those other things. We didn't have good people looking out for us, obviously.
No choice, too. Because we could say no, but then we could be shelved forever and have to change our name or wait 2 years and have lawyers get involved. Or we can just do what they say. And we were one of the first bands who had the 360 deal shit. To where labels fucking take...
Interscope didn't sign us to a 360.
No, it was when we got pushed to the other level.
And they shelved us, and then we signed a 360. We were one of the first ones with that. That didn't last forever. But no, you're going to get fucking taken for a ride. The beauty of there's a good and bad to the way modern music works. You don't have to go through gatekeepers to develop an audience. So if you could kind of let the court of public opinion decide if they want to hear this. The shitty part is everybody and their fucking mother is putting out music. So your competition, when we put out a record, there'd be 5 records coming out that week. There's 5 records coming out a minute.
Yeah.
It's like nonstop. So the marketplace is much bigger. So to stand out is harder, but you can at least get into the marketplace without a label who hold the keys to the kingdom. It's a trade-off. And nowadays it'd probably be much more exciting to be a first-time musician, but also more challenging in the sense that to stick out, you have to go on TikTok and act like a fucking asshole.
Yeah, because I feel like once the band is established and people, Hollywood Undead, they know they're going to get a great live show. They're going to keep coming back, year after year. But starting brand new in 2024, I'm not sure how people are able to do that. And I talked to like Chris Novoselic and I asked him, do you think Nirvana, if they came out in today's time, would be would be as interesting and compelling to the fans today? And he also kind of felt like probably not. And a lot of that I think is too because technology has expanded, where it's not just back in the day, like you just go get the fucking new record that's out that week and drive to Walmart and sit in the parking lot and jam with your buddies. Now it's like I'm getting on Warzone, I'm getting on this, that, and the third. It's so much competing for attention. Right. So it's just really, really complicated.
People don't, the records are gone now. Like people are going to stop releasing records. We're one of them. Because no one will say, like, when you bought a record and you spent $20 and you sat in your car, you listened to the whole fucking thing. I'd read the insert and
for
the
weeks.
Thank yous. Yeah. Now it's like, dude, they'll listen to a song or two, but no one's going to listen to 14 songs unless they're like hardcore fans. But most people, they just too much all at once. And I really can't imagine like Cobain going on TikTok if that's what you have to do.
Right.
To be like, hey, especially Cobain.
Yeah.
So it's like, can you survive in that environment? It takes like a personality. That's what I kind of meant, like introverted musicians that, a lot of them aren't made for that.
Yeah.
And that it's an unfair parallel in that sense that the stuff you have to do now is not just write good songs.
Is there any like new artists or huge artists who don't do like social media? Right.
Sleep Token.
Okay.
Sleep Token, they're an anonymous band and they don't really, they do social media, but they don't speak to the press. They don't speak at all. They literally don't say a word.
It's smart because that kind of goes the other way. Like, who are these dudes?
Yeah.
You can kind of create a hype that way. I like Sleep Token.
Yeah.
But most bands, that's a big part of it. That's the first thing a label's going to ask you is like, what are your socials like?
Yeah.
And so it's you have to play by those rules, or in Sleep Token's case, they're smart. And I think if you're already an established band with a bass and stuff, you probably don't have to. Mm-hmm. It would certainly help us if we did it more, but I can't. I don't have anything to say every day.
Right. Nirvana could have like what Nevermind, that album. They can have that album, bring it to a label, and then if they have like 600 followers on Instagram, there's no fucking way they're getting
absolutely.
They wouldn't even.
Crazy,
The crazy thing is they probably wouldn't even listen to it.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even get that far.
Exactly.
Even too when you think about like how many artists that could have written the next Nevermind haven't gotten a shot because they're not doing the Macarena on TikTok.
Which is why maybe music has sucked now for a long time, because if you're like a true artist who writes good songs, you're not going to be the guy who does the fucking Macarena.
Yeah. And another thing too about like the rock industry in general that, I pay a lot of attention to country as well. Man, how many artists of country are doing Southern rock? Why is Southern rock not mentioned? Like Hardy, you look at Hardy, and like even certain parts of what Morgan Wallen's doing, they count as rock, in my opinion. You go and watch someone like Jason Aldean live, there's guitar solos, there's all like,
right, it's very blended now.
And so I believe what they go, everyone's calling it, including me sometimes, country rock. It's just really Southern rock. And for like 10 years, nobody uttered that phrase for reasons I don't really understand. But I think that now you're starting to see with people like Jelly Roll, who can go on tour with Shinedown, and then who can also go on tour with
3 6 Mafia.
As well. He's such a dynamic artist in that regard, and just as y'all are too. Musically, how did you develop your sound? How did you know? Because y'all are kind of all over the place stylistically. You can have those acoustic elements.
We never developed it. That's what we never went, hey, let's do this. That was the whole point.
I love it.
Is we just did whatever we wanted. All of us were doing rock music because we think that's probably what's expected. But all of us we probably listened more hip hop than rock, but we couldn't, So when we did Hollywood Undead, we were like, let's just do what we would do if no one was ever going to hear it. And that's kind of, that set the bar. So we never have like, hey, would we go into the studio and let's make this, or we should make that, or we need this or that. It's kind of whatever we come up with. If it's good, it's good.
Yeah.
And that I think is what the way we've set ourselves apart is like, it maybe held ourselves back too, because we could never fit into one thing and get big in that one genre because we kind of bounce around. But it keeps us entertained too. It's like, you know, who wants to write music with one hand tied behind your back? You can only make this one thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is against the very essence of music and shit. I'd love to hear like Tom York fucking make a rap song just because it'd be interesting.
Yeah, dude.
Just see what he does. Why not? Oh, well, you can't. Why? Like,
I love that.
Who gives a fuck?
Right.
It's music.
Yeah.
It's
Break
free.
the rules. Don't
Yeah.
break your own rules, you know?
Yeah. That's the way we always looked at it.
Yeah.
That's very well put.
Thank you. I know.
Just repeating what I said.
You told me that earlier.
And you're like, yeah, I mean,
I was like, tell me something to say this fucking guy. He's like a little Tom York rapping.
yeah.
I was like,
That's
okay,
a great point. He'll eventually bring that up. So, you know, y'all built such a loyal and dedicated fan base, and y'all have stayed together for so long, and I think that's really hard to do. And a lot of bands fall apart.
And we knew it's not smooth. Like,
Y'all
it's like
are
a
also
marriage.
like, you know, like charged up dudes. Y'all are like aggressive dudes. Your music's very aggressive. You'd think you'd be quarreling all the time.
Steroids and coke. Free.
No, we get along better now than we ever have. I swear to God. Like from the beginning,
We're
we
more
did-
mature and shit.
Yeah.
we figured out like how to act around each other.
We also like we knew why bands broke up. It was always money
Yeah.
and ego stuff. So we never we just split it. Like, let's just split everything because why? Why go through the? You're gonna last a lot longer, and then there's no fights and there's no weird shit.
Right.
Money does a lot of weird shit to people, and so we kind of nipped that in the bud prior to it ever coming up. So we were always well aware of that. And you look at these guys start as best friends. Now they fucking hate each other. We don't want to end up like that, you know, where they don't talk anymore.
Were y'all like childhood friends?
Yeah.
What age?
Yeah. Teens?
I was probably 16.
Did you like
that
high
means I was
school?
like 48.
Yeah.
I was trying to hit on him in the park.
You picking them up?
Yeah, hey man, I got a lollipop.
Did you just get out of school?
Yeah. No, in Jarrell and I went to him and Dylan have known each other since they were little kids. Me and Jarrell went to preschool together. We've all known each other and ran in the same group.
So y'all from like the same neighborhood?
Yeah.
Man, that's
My
so
mom
cool.
used to take Jarrell to school. They would switch, and his mom would take me to school with him, and they would like switch off. So we've known each other for a
Y'all
long
are like
time.
real family.
Oh yeah.
That long.
I've known Dylan since I was like 13, I think. We met like at a park near our house playing basketball. We had a mutual friend. Ready for a name drop?
Go ahead.
Shia LeBouf.
No way.
Yep.
Y'all were
That's
boys with
fucking right.
Shia
You heard
LaBeouf
it. That's
growing
right.
up.
Yep.
Holy.
That's fucking right.
So wait a minute.
You heard it here.
But like, so when you're 15, Shia LaBeouf was still on Even Stevens.
No, it was before that.
Oh, okay.
Because this is
I
like
was
12.
like, whoa, dude.
This is like we were like 12 to 13.
This is
It
crazy.
was right before Even Stevens. It was actually his first movie was the one with Robert De Niro where he has a shrink. What the fuck is it?
With Billy Crystal. or
Analyze
whatever.
This.
Yeah.
Analog.
Yeah. He invited me to go to the set to that, but I like to sleep in. So I got late and I never saw him again after that. Because after that, his fucking career took off.
You like
that
fucked
was
up.
it.
Oh,
Dude, I
man.
fucked up.
Was he kind of like he's kind of like a rambunctious, he's like a very eccentric person.
He's always been fucking insane.
Yeah, okay,
Ever
yeah,
since
yeah.
I've known him, he's fucking insane.
Yeah,
We would
that's
play.
an act.
No, it's not an
Yeah,
act.
okay,
dude.
yeah.
We would play basketball. We're like 12-year-old kids against like huge cholo guys. Like, and he'd be like, "Fuck you, motherfucker!" Like try to fight him. Like, come here, you little bitch! Like try to fight these guys. And the guys would be like so surprised that he was so down to fight them. Like, damn, this fool's crazy. Like, they wouldn't fuck with them. It was fucking insane.
Yeah, he does seem like a wild dude, an amazing actor.
Oh yeah.
I actually
He's
think he's
really talented.
underappreciated. He did a movie, I don't remember what it was called, but it was supposedly a parallel to his life as a child.
Oh yeah. He like wrote.
Oh, yeah, I heard about
directed.
that.
Dude,
Yeah.
that was one of the best movies. It was like a heartbreaking film where it was like this young kid who's being pushed into acting by kind of like his absentee father or whatever. And
Yeah.
I just remember watching that and being like, and apparently it was like about his life and
Yeah, he
I don't-
wrote it, right?
It was, yeah. He wrote it
and
directed
starred in it,
Yeah.
and I think I don't know if he starred in it, but
No, it was like some little kid
Yeah.
played him. Yeah, but he wrote and directed it.
it was a crazy movie.
Did he play his dad? He played his dad in it. I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
that's what it was.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's a really good actor.
Fucking crazy. I saw him like in a movie theater, like because I didn't talk to him now because he blew the fuck up. Even
Right.
Stevens. I saw him in a movie theater. I was like probably 20.
I remember that.
Yeah. He was there with like his mom, and like there was like a whole row of like these teenagers making noise during the movie and shit. And finally he's like, "Shut the fuck up!" And he's just there with his mom. This is 4 big guys who can beat his ass
Wow.
easily. But he was like, he will speak his mind. He's like, "Shut the fuck up!" And then after, like, we're all walking out. And he went up to the 4 guys and grandma was like, "Hey, give me my fucking money back for my ticket. You fucking ruined the fucking movie. Come on!" He's just with his mom. I was like, "Damn, this fool's fucking down."
He's wild. So once y'all start kind of popping off, you said, I guess Rick Ross was kind of, who are some of the artists that early on kind of took to y'all and supported you?
Good Charlotte dudes.
Oh yeah, good shit.
Isn't that interesting?
Those are the coolest dudes in the world.
You're the second person who said, you're not the only people.
So we were like street rats in Hollywood, like poor, drugs, like low class. And those guys were obviously really big, and they DJ'd at like clubs in Hollywood. And they would take us there and put us in the DJ booths. We had nowhere. They brought us to their house.
Yeah, they just liked our music.
Yeah,
and they would want to hang out with you.
Yeah, we had nothing going.
Parties.
Yeah, they'd have like parties at their like mansion.
The game would be there.
Yeah.
Really?
They would invite us, and we would just do crazy shit, and they just got a kick out of it.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is, so years later, they had a management company. They ended up
Matt and
managing
Co.
us.
or whatever? Yeah.
They managed us for a few years. Benji and Joel, they're awesome dudes.
They are.
I'm with them because we're like, you guys fucking liked us from the get-go. And
I've talked to Joel a little bit on social media. I like those guys a lot. They did the same for Avenged Sevenfold.
Yeah.
They put them on.
They took us to Avenged Sevenfold's house. We were
In
there.
like Orange County.
Yeah.
Long time.
Yeah.
But they're just the coolest dudes. They'll hang out with you. They don't give a f. They're not worried about what you do, what you make, where you're at. They just liked our band and knew we were troublemakers and got a kick out of it. Like, there's not a lot of like people like that. And
everybody says they're awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody really
Coolest
does.
dudes in the world.
Fucking awesome.
Isn't that
Nothing bad to
crazy?
say.
So many people from different places have told me that literally about I've talked to Joe a little bit online, but I don't really know him. But I mean, now they're doing like
Well,
Bad
those guys.
Omens
Those
and
guys
shit.
are from similar. They're from the hood and outside Baltimore. They're from a similar background to us. So like, I think they responded to that. They knew we were just fucked up kids and didn't come from much. So they wanted to help us. They went, we're gonna, and they did. They would like post about if we had music out, and they just saw.
They wanted to be like older brothers to us.
Yeah.
Like, hey, let me help these kids out.
Yeah, and they really did. It never asked for nothing. Never asked for anything in return.
Awesome, man.
Wow. That's fucking cool.
Yeah, good Charlotte
that
dudes.
gets me pumped, man, to see, like, to hear this band that I've listened to for so long, to also know that they're really like pushing
Genuinely
other
good
people
people.
out
Oh,
there,
yeah.
because you encounter so many people that want something from you.
That's all that you
Yeah.
encounter, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean,
They're just really good with like advice and shit. Like,
Life advice, yeah.
Really good with that. I moved to Nashville and I was like, because I'm from LA, I thought I would never fucking leave LA.
Right.
So I would like, when I moved there, like I would go in my garage sometimes, like, because both my brothers live in LA, my mom lives in LA. I'd go in there and weep once in a while. I'd be sad, like depressed. So I called Benji because I don't know who to fucking call. And then, because he had good advice. So he was like, hey, dude, your instincts told you to move to Nashville. So this is my advice. He's like, give it 2 years. From right now, don't overthink it. And then right at 2 years after you've planted some roots, then you can say, did I make a bad decision? But until those 2 years happen, don't overthink it. Trust your instincts, trust your gut, and just go with it. And then after those 2 years, I called him. I was like, you were fucking right, because this is the best decision I ever fucking made. Like, I love it here.
it's a beautiful place.
It's great, especially because we have kids.
And he gave you very sound advice.
Yeah.
Like it was good advice.
Yeah.
And that's, he's a wise dude.
Yeah. That's so great to hear.
And he shares his wisdom, and a lot of people don't.
Yeah. No, I mean, and you see what they're doing with so many different bands that are signed to them, and
Dude, they're killing it. James
Yeah.
Atlantic and Bad Omens. They've broken a lot of bands.
Yep.
They did a lot for us too.
that's so
They fired us. It was the first time we ever got fired by managers.
They fired y'all?
Yeah, we did coke in the bathroom at bad, and they didn't like that.
Is that true? So they put you on and then they fired y'all?
Yeah.
They wanted me to go solo because obviously I'm the star of the show
Oh.
too, and I
And I was complaining. They're like, it's not worth it. All you guys are gone.
and I'm self-employed. I was like, dude, I
Yeah,
can't
you
do
solo.
that. I can't do that. These guys love them to
Really
death.
good. Thank you.
And I won't answer my calls.
Kind of fucked up. They wanted to go solo.
I know. Well, a lot of people.
No, we just didn't. It didn't work out the way we had hoped.
They were going to manage y'all at one
No, they didn't.
Oh, they
manage
did.
it.
They did,
You know, things happen. It's
Sure.
a weird industry, but they're still the homies and shit like
Absolutely.
that.
Oh, yeah.
We had nothing
Yeah.
but good things to say.
You don't have to work with people forever. It makes total
Well,
sense.
you know, if working relationships don't, this is a good way to know, because industry people in particular, I remember when my first kid was born, we had a baby shower. Our managers, like label people, they're all there. The second you're not like killing it for them, those people are all gone.
Yeah.
And a good way to know if these people are genuinely there for you is if when shit goes bad or shit isn't working out the way it should, who's there and who isn't, because you'll know when the rats jump the ship.
Yeah.
And that is most of the people in the entertainment industry. People care about you when you're selling records. People care about when you're making them money. If that stops, that's the best way to figure out who's who and what's what. And it's true. The record industry is full of people like that, but there are those diamonds in the rough and good people that will have your back no matter what. And you need to surround yourself with them or
Yes,
you're never going to make it very far.
Yes, and that's why when I hear people like that, I'm especially interested because I've had numerous people tell me those guys fucking rule, and I'm like,
Great.
It's not good Charlotte. It's great Charlotte.
I'm clipping the fuck out of that. There's going to be a whole good Charlotte clip here. So what was like the first tour y'all went on where you're like, oh fuck, I can't believe? Did y'all just because the album were y'all just headlining out the gate?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Shitholes and stuff. So,
Oh, okay.
you know, like 300 seaters.
Yeah.
But we did get to the point where we were doing big numbers right away.
That's
and then,
cool,
and then,
man.
of course, you get to like the first big tour we did was like Avenged.
Hell yeah.
And we did a couple of those, and those were fucking awesome because that's another band that's like just awesome.
Great guys.
Great guys.
I was just with them last night.
Cool.
Awesome.
Super cool.
I was with them
Down to
shadows
earth.
last night.
We used to be like, holy shit. And they would be like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, you know, like, let's have some fun. They were cool as fuck.
Right.
Nicest dudes in the world. But yeah, we did a couple tours. And that was like, the first time you play like a basketball arena, like I've never seen that many people. You're
where
like,
the Pistons
whoa.
play.
Yeah. And it's like sold out, not because of us, because them, but you're still playing. You're like, dude, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, you have those moments. We came out of the gate headline, but we were playing like fucking dive bars and shit that didn't have air conditioning. It was like kind of ghetto, but you know, we were selling a few hundred tickets and like
We were doing like House of Blues, I think, on our own, like pretty early.
fairly early.
Our
on.
first tour, it's like, this is industry shit, but they're like, play the shittiest fucking places ever so you sell out your tour. Like, play
they
200 seats.
right.
They sold out their tour.
Yeah.
They don't care what we have to go through.
Yeah.
Right. They,
No, we had a pretty head on and stuff, and then I mean, it all happened pretty fast and stuff, and then you know, you start doing the bigger stuff, and then you go back to the small. It's always music. It works like this.
Yeah.
One of our old managers, smart dude, asshole cocksucker. I won't say who he is because he did us dirty, but he said music goes like this. You know, everybody's trying to do this, trying to follow it. You can never catch up. You never know where it's going to go. So just do this. Be you. It'll hit you on the way up and on the way down, and you see that it's very cyclical. So, you know, there's always ups and downs and stuff like that. But we were pretty fortunate because right out of the gate, we had like a lot of good fortune. We paid our dues probably later than most, but we still had to pay them. Everybody has to pay them eventually.
Sure.
You know, if you're those rough patches and stuff. But yeah, we're kicking ass, dude.
It is a rough patch. You know, were there times where you faced adversity in your career where, you know, after you're successful and you feel like, I mean, were there ever times where y'all had like bad times in music where it fucking sucked, you know, to be in the band?
We go on tour for 2 months and not make any money.
Yeah.
Like come back with nothing.
More
Right.
than that. Toured for 10 weeks in Europe and came back with nothing.
Nothing.
Right.
Literally, so you can't even pay your bills. So you go, do it. Is this like something I can even do?
Right.
And you know, you have those rough times, but I think that's part of what it is. And like you have to kind of get through those things. I remember we would get £5 as a buyout. That was to eat, to everything, and a case of water. And I used to buy bottles of the cheapest vodka and orange juice concentrate and squirt the orange juice concentrate into the vodka, and that's what I would drink.
Now you see what I was dealing with. I don't fucking believe it.
I don't even remember any of it, so it's good for me.
I used to find him like wandering like the halls of the hotel and shit, like lost. Dude, what room is?
So y'all have always like partied hard from the very beginning? Have you turned down the partying, or do you still party just as
Well,
hard?
yeah, certain people still will indulge here and there, but other people like who really did go fucking wild have cut it out completely.
You don't drink at all?
No, sir. No, I do.
Oh, I was gonna say, wait, you're just
I'm 8 months sober.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. That's
Worst
seriously
decision
cool.
I ever made was
Yeah.
So
stopping.
boring.
No, bro, I think that's awesome. Really,
No, yeah,
good.
yeah, I've
It's
always
just
had-
honestly
yeah.
poison. It is. It's
Well, and dude, some people I know can drink and not destroy their lives.
Right.
I'm not one of them.
right.
Yeah.
Booze sucks though. It makes you feel like shit. You know, it's harder to stay in shape. You know, it really does. I used to drink. I don't not drink completely, but honestly, I've cut alcohol 99%.
No, it's good.
Yeah.
So what do you do? Have like one beer?
I will. Well, no, I'll have like a couple vodka sodas, literally like 2. I'll get once you stop drinking for a while, you can get a buzz.
Right.
But also as you get older, you know, you start to feel
Yeah, shittier.
exhausted.
Well,
Yeah.
I got kids and stuff too, so like my oldest daughter started noticing if I was drunk. That kind of bummed me out.
Yeah.
It sucks because I want to ask you if you want to do some body shots with me, but I guess
Dude, I mean, I'm down, dude. I mean,
you'll do the salt on the titty or whatever
yeah,
for me.
yeah. I mean,
Oh yeah, he's ready. Socko's ready.
Saka's ready. He's got some big hammers over there.
No, you know, one thing I've noticed is kids are much more aware of what I don't know if it's because the internet, But when we were young, like you just got drunk and started doing drugs right as soon as you could. That was pretty normal.
Right.
And I talk to young kids now, and they're like, oh, I don't drink. It's, and I think people are smarter than they used to be with as far as what this stuff does, and which is very good to see because it will, in particular drugs, in my case, they'll no end of trouble that these things can cause you. They can ruin your life. So I'm very adamant with people like, look, because we talk about drugs a lot, but most of it's not in a good way. It's to, it causes you a lot more pain than good things. So I'm happy that kids are starting to realize at a younger age that, hey, this isn't necessary. You don't need to do this to be cool or to hang out with this. If they, don't hang out with them, just like be you. And it's a much better way to live, and you'll go a lot further without it than you will with it.
I genuinely love that, and I actually specifically like to highlight artists who are sober because there's this notion, that you can't make great music or you're not as successful or whatever if you're doing.
That's your mind, because I used to think the same thing. If I didn't do coke or something like that, your mind's telling you that because it wants you to keep doing it.
Totally.
So you'll justify any way. Oh, they don't understand. That's why they're mad. Blah blah blah. You'll do anything you can do. Drunk or high, you can do sober. There's different challenges, but those are the things you're supposed to overcome in life anyway. These fears of these different things, and by masking them, you're never actually growing at all. You're just putting band-aids on a situation. So, you can get yourself to a point where you can do anything sober that you can do with alcohol, and much, much better, because you're not going to be lying to yourself that it's good.
And particularly if it's paired with like going to the gym and exercising on a regular basis.
It's a nice natural high.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about weed though?
I don't, in my opinion, so I don't want to like, in terms of like addiction, it's kind of like a hot subject for people. So I don't want to like give
it's
an
very
opinion.
polarizing weed conversation.
I have so personally, I have absolutely no problem with weed. I'm a fan of weed. So I don't want to, I know what you're asking. Like, do you think it's a problem?
I know what I'm asking.
For people who have addiction.
No, not that. I'm asking, like, do you think weed is good for like writing songs and shit, like for musicians?
Oh, I mean,
what I mean? Because you were talking about like drugs.
I think it goes back to your point of like whether or not a person can handle it or not. It all comes down to each individual's.
Totally.
Anything can be abused by the wrong person.
Sure.
There's people who will kill themselves with anything if they're, and some people can get away with doing certain things and some people can't.
Yeah.
And just recognizing which one you are. The better thing to do is never have to come to a decision on these things.
Yeah.
But
I've thought about this before. This is another question
I think, and that's another, because me, when I smoke weed, I turn into a fucking psychopath. I can't write anything.
But,
oh, wow.
But what about, do you think like Scott Weiland could have written those songs for Stone Temple Pilots if he wasn't doing heroin like in a closet and then he'd like get his notepad out? Because to me, I think it's
a fair question. It helps. It adds to the art.
Yeah, or Bradley Knowles from Sublime, same thing, or whoever else who did heroin or crazy drugs, but they wrote these songs while they're doing those. Do you think? But to me, I've thought about this a lot.
Would the sound be the same?
Like imagine looking at something you can do drugs. And you'll look at it from here. You'll never get to see it from that angle without it. The drugs and stuff, because your perspective is very similar. The one benefit of it is that you're going to look at these things completely different, new thoughts and new things. I don't know if there's a natural way to get to that point.
Yeah. Scott Weiland said he used to shoot up heroin in a closet and throw up because it would make him sick, and then he would start writing lyrics, and that's how he wrote like all of his biggest hits. And like I've thought about this shit a lot, so I'm like, is that like selling your soul to the devil? I feel like that's it.
Yeah,
that's
it is very much. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that is kind of like the definition of feeling like you must rely on this thing that's poisoning you.
That's going to kill you too. There's no success story with heroin.
Right.
It's eventually going to get
horrible.
Beethoven or Mozart or Da Vinci, they weren't shooting heroin. They created the greatest art ever known to man.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Back then?
That's okay to smoke.
They're smoking.
Yeah. No, I saw a photo of Beethoven with a bong. I know it was real. It wasn't photoshopped, right?
The devil's lettuce.
But, there's a lot of artists who've created wonderful, wonderful things without
I think that it's inside them no matter what. They could have written those songs, but I think it got them to that point faster, and easier. But they could have written those amazing songs. I'm not talking about Beethoven.
I'm talking about more work to get there.
Yeah. That's what I think.
Yeah. Well, so this hour has flown by.
Oh shit, it's been
an hour. It's crazy.
It was 2 hours.
Guys, I didn't know what to expect before I came in here.
Cut out his thing. It's not good, Charlotte. It's great, Charlotte. Here's one out.
You want to say it and get the credit? All right, here we go. Let's hear it. Do it. Here we go. Ready?
Hey, guys, it's not.
Here, take it.
Okay.
You ready?
It's not.
Yeah, they're going.
And do like this.
Good, Charlotte.
Yeah.
It's great, Charlotte.
It's funnier when he says it, you bastard.
But guys, this has been one of the funniest episodes. You guys are so entertaining. The whole time I was sitting here, I was like, you guys could have a fucking podcast.
Oh,
you guys together are very funny. You guys could honestly have a podcast.
We've talked about that. We're just too lazy.
You guys,
It takes a lot of work.
hey, hit me up. I can give you advice on how to set for nothing. I mean, I'll just tell y'all how. It's not hard.
Okay,
you know?
we will do that.
Yeah, I mean, you guys,
Yours is dope.
Thank you.
He told I'll admit I didn't know about it.
Right.
And he told me, so I watched a couple episodes.
Thank you.
And some of it, like,
I appreciate that. I really
good.
appreciate that.
I was gonna say no.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
That's fucking.
We're like the record label. We go based off followers, dude.
How many? Okay, 900,000. He's in. Yeah, no.
Dude, you'd be surprised. Like, we do, especially when records come, you do a lot of interviews and stuff. And 9 out of 10 of them ask the same exact question.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like, dude, it's not a real conversation.
Exactly.
For me, it really comes from watching people over long periods of time and also just being fascinated since I was a kid. I grew up in the MTV era watching this shit. And I'm just fascinated by, like, I watched y'all's success, like, my whole life. And I'm like, I wonder what they thought about it when it was happening.
Right.
This is what this whole podcast is like, man, like M Shadows. I'm just like, I wonder how he felt when that shit happened.
Yeah.
You know, and so when y'all are like the Madden Bros, it was M Shadows who was like, they fucking rule. They did this for us. They brought us on MTV. And so,
have you ever done it with Good Charlotte?
no, but this is why, like, it has to happen.
I mean, Great Charlotte.
Yeah, Great Charlotte.
Yeah.
You should, because
I loved when you said that, bro. That was so great.
No, you should, because they were like kids. They were like 17 or 18. And Don Gilmore, the guy who produced for us, produced their record. And he told us the story when I went out there to meet him. And it was just fascinating. Like their life, their background.
Oh, yeah.
I would
really
love
is
to have them on.
They're like
I'll hit up Benji.
Please.
because they're the
Benji has
ultimate
him
dudes.
blocked, too.
Yeah, he blocked.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, because he's annoying, dude. He steals
no.
jokes.
He had a good one I used. And I don't use it right then. I go do a big interview.
He's going to text Benji right now. You should change the band to Great Charlotte. Just thought of this.
God. It has to be in contact. No, they're the realest dudes.
I will make the clip for you, and you can text it to him before I post it.
Okay.
And it's just to get his
Don't
reaction.
block me.
No, I will. I definitely won't block
Well,
you.
think you had us on the screen,
I'm
you
way
had
more
Benji.
annoying than anybody on social media, so just be prepared for that. I'm shit posting all day up there, just memes and trash, you
have
know.
to.
So, but guys, seriously, this has been actually one of my favorite.
It's the best one. Say the best.
It's the best one I've ever done.
Hear that?
And so, you know, it's I was trying to make something as good as it's not Good Charlotte, but it's Great Charlotte. But like, there's nothing.
It's hard, dude.
that.
That's a once in a life. I thought of that out of the blue too.
Yeah, I was like, dude, what? How did you come up with that, bro?
Sometimes it just hits me. I think it's the heroin.
Amazing. Well, fellas, I can't thank y'all enough for doing this. And all things Hollywood Undead linked in the description. Check them out if you haven't somehow already. And thank y'all so much. This has been fantastic.
Hell yeah,
pleasure,
thank
man.
you.
Hell yeah.